Hello and welcome to Home vs. House. I'm Lisa, and this is a channel where I share budget-friendly home decor and lifestyle ideas. Guys, I am back in this space with some updates. A couple of videos ago, I talked about trying to minimize pests in here, doing a sort of pest control, mainly rabbits, but also bugs that are eating my vegetable garden, so competing for my produce, so to speak. So I am back here again, just kind of sharing some of the things that I've done here to try to mitigate that issue as much as I can. So join me on this walkthrough this morning as I share updates to this space. So over here, this is my garden room. One of my garden rooms back here did not do much except for a little bit of weeding that I still have to do. Let's say over here, these are doing okay. My Swiss chard is doing a lot better in this corner right here. I am very happy with the results. Over here, I had transplanted a purple cabbage, and it is still on its way to recover from being eaten pretty badly. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to salvage it, but I'm trying anyway. Over in this corner, I have not done a whole much. I did throw down a little bit more of the clover seeds here that have not sprouted yet. And guys, this week I ended up getting this discounted canna to plant in this corner. I'm not sure I'm going to plant it here just yet. I'm kind of observing the sunlight. It's supposed to be a full sun plant, and I think I get full sun in that corner, but I'm going to observe it a little bit more over the course of the next few days to really see. Later today, I'm going to transplant this bearded iris to another area. Guys, look, my parsley has been doing very well over here, and I've been harvesting this quite a bit. Over here, my elderberry bush is coming up really nicely and thickening out. I did go ahead and add this trellis, this wooden trellis over here, just to add some just to fill the space a little bit more. I picked these up 3 of these wooden trellis from Aldi's a couple of weeks ago. This first garden bed, so I've got cabbage and some herbs, marigolds, as well growing here. And yesterday I had the lawn mowed, so I took some of that grass to mulch the garden bed. We are approaching some really hot weather here. We've been in hot weather actually, and it's about to get hotter, and so I thought I could mulch my garden to kind of keep the soil a bit more moist. Guys, let me take a closer look. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on my cabbage, because this is my 2nd year or 3rd year planting cabbage, and it has never gotten to where it's actually folding in the middle. And so I am very hopeful that I may get to harvest some cabbage this year. For the garden beds, so I have 4 of them, 4 raised garden beds, and I just recently added, like built it up a little bit more. I used scrap wood that I had on hand. My scrap wood I usually get from the Habitat for Humanity Restore. I also get it from Home Depot. They usually have like a discounted pile of wood, and I'm usually paying a couple bucks. In fact, the last time I was at Home Depot, I had gotten like 3 pieces of wood, and they were, all 3 came up to like $2.40 something cents. And so that's how I accumulate my scrap wood, and that's what I used to do these garden beds. I had purchased the wood before for a different project, and that project never really took off, and so I used the wood here. This is the second raised bed. So I have a combination of collard greens, which I've harvested some and some were eaten. I also have green onions growing here, and garlic chives growing here. I have some kale that I've also harvested here, and then some green peas that I am starting to see. It was flowering a little bit ago, and I have seen some peas on here. I think I've seen like 3 of them so far. Over here, I have, I bought this hanging basket. This was a clearance sale for like a couple bucks. I think it was like 3 or 4 bucks from Walmart recently, just to add a pop of color. I am planning on swapping out the baskets. In fact, I already bought the liners, 2 liners over here, and I'm just looking for 2 of the metal baskets. I'm looking for them at the thrift store. So over the next couple of days, I'm going to be frequenting my local thrift stores to see if I can get 2 of the metal baskets, so I can swap out. But I'm really loving the pop of color that it has added to my garden. And this bush right here is a Weigela bush. So this is a spring, I believe it's a spring blossom. And it blossomed last year, but not this year. This year our spring was kind of wonky. We had a mixture of like wintry, summery spring that I think quite a bit of my plants got a little bit confused, but that's okay. Over in this pot, I have some thyme, and they are coming in quite nicely. Over here, I did lay down some ground cover, some clover seeds, and they are popping up nice and thick. I do plan to do some kind of stepping stone here, as this is a walking path. Let's see what else. I went ahead and moved my water container on this side of the garden, and I'm still opening it up. I'm still cutting through the top to be able to collect a larger quantity of water at a time. Rainwater is why I purchased this. My plan is to still put a spigot down below, but my goal is to be able to collect enough rainwater in the season to water the garden some. Over here is a second canna that I purchased. I did this purchased a couple of days ago from my local garden center, and they had them marked down for like $17 each, and then I got another markdown, so I ended up paying $5 for each of the canna. So I'm thinking this is another full sun spot, and I wanted to plant it amongst the bearded iris to just add a color variation, a green and purplish color. Over here, these two strawberry plants that I transplanted some time ago. I'm not sure if they're doing all that great here, but the area that I moved them from was a really shaded area, so we'll see. Along the fence, I have a collection of Black Eye Susan and what's the pine, not pine, but coneflower. And so they're coming up quite, they're coming up quite nicely actually. They're thickening out some, and so I'm really happy about that. The idea was to have it kind of come up taller and create a privacy fence. I still have some garden cleanup here, back here. The lawn got mowed yesterday, and I'm using some of that grass as mulch. So that's a project to be continued. I did go ahead along the fence to add some garden decor. So I moved most of them out where I had them before. And I had two new additions. So this one I picked up from Aldi's, and then there's another one down the way. I've got a pepper plant here and a strawberry, or not a strawberry, but a blueberry plant. The peppers, I'm seeing some peppers on them. Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. So I may get a harvest out of this later. This is where I added another trellis, again, just more of a decor. So as this garden progresses, maybe not even this year, but I may get some more climbing plants to climb up this trellis here. So a lot of how my garden layout initially are just plans for maybe future years, but that's kind of how I do my garden. I move around things quite a bit as well. Two cherry tomato plants that is getting nice and tall. I haven't seen any flowers yet though, guys. And in here I have planted amaranths that did not come up. I recently planted some sunflower and corn, and that was over the past week, so I'm gonna see if it sprouts along this fence. Over here I have another pepper and a blueberry. And then guys, look how much flowers my cucumber is having. So I am expecting a harvest to start harvesting this pretty soon. In this third garden bed, I have, what do I have here? I have some beans growing, kale, and garlic chive, and I think 1 or 2 cabbage. In this pot, I had some chamomile growing, and I recently transplanted some rosemary in here because I had rosemary in this pot last year and it really thrived. And where I had the rosemary before for this year, they were not really thriving, so I put them back in this pot. Down alongside this fence, I have a combination of things growing here. Some bearded iris. I have a black eye Susan, as well as a salvaged foxgloves. I did go ahead and move my geranium from another area to over here, and I'm getting a lot more blooms over in this corner. Last video I showed that I added some annuals in this DIY planter to add a pop of color amongst all the greenery happening back here. And then my honeysuckle, it is thriving here, guys. All right, let's continue. I'm gonna walk back over. I did miss a couple. My yarrow is coming up nice and thick. And this is a really good spot for it. It's a sunny spot and they do really well in full sun. Another cucumber plant that I started from seed. I believe this is a lemon cucumber, and I've never planted those before, nor have I had them before. So it'll be really, I'm really excited to be able to grow this. It's coming up really nice, and hopefully to harvest it here soon. All right, let's keep on moving on this walkthrough. My Astilbe, I'm getting some pops of lilac over in this corner, and this area is some shaded plants. So I have Heuchera or Corabelle, and then I also have Bleeding Hearts that harvest in the spring. I swapped out, this is where I swapped out the strawberry plant for the geranium. This strawberry, I am not getting much, I have not gotten harvest from it yet, but I have gotten from another strawberry hanging basket. A few weeks ago, I transplanted this butterfly bush from another area of the garden to over here. Not sure this is a great spot for it, but I feel like it's a better spot than before. Guys, again, most of my gardening is just trial and error, and seeing what thrive in what area and moving it to that area. I over the past maybe 2 weeks or so planted these Clarence annuals in here, and they give off a really nice pop of color. Over in these cinder blocks, I have marigolds growing. I have eggplants that I'm seeing some flowers, so that tells me I may be harvesting pretty soon, if the flowers don't just drop. This tomato plant, so I had gotten it the same time I got this one, and this one is a lot taller than this one over here, and so I cut back on the bearded iris over here a couple of days ago, and I am seeing quite a bit of a difference. It's getting a lot more sun. My basil, I've been harvesting this quite a bit, and then I've got a second eggplant here that's also doing well. And then in between here, I have a marigold that had gotten eaten. This tomato plant, I've harvested 2 tomatoes so far from it, and I see some more flowers coming in, so I'm excited about that. Guys, down below here in this pot, this is actually a weed that I recently found out had some medicinal benefits, and so I'm letting it grow in this pot. Down below I have this thrifted metal pot that I am putting an assortment of like sedums and ground cover in here. This is a third trellis that I added in this corner, and right now it's just for decorative purposes, although I see the honeysuckle is trying to reach out to it, so it might be an extension of the honeysuckle. As this is the strawberry patch that I've been harvesting quite a bit. I harvested up to yesterday, and I'm trying to compete with the birds. I get a lot of birds. This year I've seen a lot of cardinal birds back here, and some other types of birds, and so we are competing for the strawberries. I'm trying to get it before it gets to it. I had this peonies plant. I've transplanted it so many times, guys, over the past couple of years, from pots to ground. No, I don't think I've ever had it in the ground directly. I have had it in the pot, in different pots and at different locations of this garden. So I recently moved it over here. I thought maybe where it was getting too beaten down by the sun, and I added it here a couple of days ago, so I'm still being watchful to see if that's a good idea. Over here I have a second hanging baskets. Let's see what this plant is. I'm not even sure, but it's still got the tag on it. Oops, let's see. Yeah, it's the tag is covering up the name of it, so I'm not sure, but if you know the name of this plant, you're welcome to drop it in the comment section. But it just adds a really nice pop of color here as well. And I had gotten this for, I think with tax it came up to like $4 and some change each. So I showed one before, and this is a second one. Okay, in this cinder block I have lavender growing that I've been using for my tea. I have another tomato growing here, a pepper that I'm going to be harvesting here in a bit, and then a larger pepper down below. I have some thyme in between, some oregano, and a purple basil, and then another strawberry plant. I'm not sure this is a good area for it, but for this tomato, not strawberry, but tomato plant, but we'll see. Let's see, alongside this part of the fence, I had some weeks ago transplanted some hydrangeas, so 3 of them, and this is one. The other one is down over on that side. Another DIY planter with a pop of color. My daylilies have been blooming quite nicely, adding a really sharp pop of yellow back here. Guys, this is the second garden room that it's been a development. Over on that end I have my clover ground cover coming in beautifully, nice and thick. I'm so happy about that. And in the coming days I'm going to do some work on this back wall. So I did this maybe 2 years ago, and the idea is to create kind of like a rustic, like artsy look back here, and I just never got to do anything beyond the initial putting the wall up. kind of, oh, I know the word I'm looking for. I wanted it to be kind of ancient ruins look. So I got some, I don't know what it's called, but I got some kind of like, um, I'm trying to think of the word, like when you paint like bricks, but it's a thick paste. So I got those actually free um, a couple of years ago, and the intent was to add it to this wall to add some color and more of that kind of ancient look. And I just never did anything to it. So my plan is over the next maybe week or so to try to use it here to see what becomes of my idea. So stay tuned, probably on the next video, or if not the next, the next two videos, I will attempt to do something here. But guys, this is another really cool area. I've got big old trees back here, and it's nice and shaded, and I just use this thrifted wooden bench, and sometimes I just come out here and sit and think and reflect. Coneflower, my coneflower is doing really nice over here, and these were just self-seeded from when I had a patch of coneflower in another area of my garden, and when I cut it back at the end of the summer, I just threw down the branches and the seeds over alongside this fence. I'm planning to do the same thing at the end of summer to this side, so hopefully by next year I'll have that kind of similar look to this side of this garden room. Guys, this is the fourth garden or raised bed that I did some work with over the past week or so, and I have an assortment of things growing here. I have cabbage, kale, green onions. I have a watermelon plant over here that is flowering. I'm not sure I'm gonna get any watermelon, but it was a clearance item that I maybe paid 50 bucks for, or like $1. And then I have some Chinese cabbage that I have been harvesting. So I've been harvesting the Chinese cabbage back here. I think I have 3 or 4 of them. And then the green onions I've harvested, and I need to harvest some of the green onions here probably after this video. So again, just scrap wood. I think this was the last, these two raised beds were the last of the 4, and they really do look like a scrap wood creation. Because I just used whatever wood that I had left to complete it. I have this spruce tree that I need to cut back on here, and some, because it's hanging, it's getting taller, and I don't want it to get that tall, and it's hanging over the garden bed, as well as it is blocking this path right here. And so I really need to work on it. Another daylily over here. So I want to transplant some bearded iris here. I've been meaning to do that for a bit, and so that project is coming up here soon. This is another area, so it's the other side of this garden room that I planted some clover seeds and they're doing well. Some more daylilies and bearded iris alongside here. And guys, I transplanted my clematis plants over here because where I had it before was getting a lot of sun, too much sun, and it was just scorching the leaves. So it is coming back slowly, but hopefully surely. My lamiate, I have abandoned this quite a bit. Oftentimes when I'm watering, I forget to water it. So I am going to need to be a little bit more diligent with remembering. Down here, some more daylilies, and then I did sprinkle some clover seeds here along in here as well. And then guys, this is my all catch-all table. This is supposed to be my potting table, but at this point it's my garden trash table for now. At least that's the presentation, but that's what it is. Over in this cinder blocks, I had some green onions growing and I recently harvested them. I do plan to get some cilantro. I had some cilantro from seeds and they just they were doing well and then they died out. And so I want to get some more cilantro probably later today when I get out and about to plant a couple patches in the cinder blocks. Over here I have some purple lettuce growing here, and then this was a purple cabbage that had gotten eaten by the rabbits, and it's making a comeback. It's making a comeback, so we'll see. And then I went ahead and sprinkled some clover seeds in here as well, and I could see evidence of them popping up. Some more green onions on this side. And I did throw down some clover seeds, but I also have been stepping in this area quite a bit, so I probably need to throw down some more seeds here. My boxwood, so these are two plants that I've had here for a bit. I need to cut back on it. They had gotten damage in the late frost this spring and they have not fully recovered. Over here I just have some thrifted annuals for a pop of color in this corner. My Japanese spirea, it is spiraling out of control. There was a tiny walk-in path. It's overgrowing in that path, so I need to cut it back. And then this is an indoor spider plant that I just have here, and it's doing okay. It's looking a lot more greener than it had been on the inside. And then guys, I believe this is a sunflower, a volunteer sunflower plant in this pot that I'm just letting it grow to see what becomes of it. And then over here I have some sedum, autumn joy, in this pot over here. Guys, and look at my morning glory in this red pot. It is trellising up. This trellis that I had gotten from, I believe it was Aldi's. I got two. I'm using one for the clematis and the other one for the morning glory. My daisy came back from last year. And then my another patch of sedum, or autumn joy, I think is what this one is called. Alongside this entryway, I did a few weeks ago transplanted some hostas. They had gotten eaten quite a bit. I'm not seeing any new leaves so far, but I'm gonna leave them just to see what becomes of it. And then alongside the on either end, my hanging baskets are doing really nicely with some annuals. I have a collection of annuals here. I believe Impatient as well as Collia. Guys, and we have walked through this garden, and I've showed some of the updates that I've done here. I'm still working on some things. Like I said, I still want to work on this wall, and gardening, guys, is a continuous process. I sit back here daily and enjoy how my garden is taking shape, and then it also gives me some new ideas of what I want to do here. So if you're a gardener, I'm sure you could relate to that. And if you're watching this video and aspire to be a gardener, get started with whatever. I think a few years ago I got started with my back porch and some potted vegetables. One of them was like tomato and peppers, and I started there, and then as I sat up on my back porch, I looked down in this area that was like pretty much all bush, because we didn't keep up with the mowing back here, and it was like a jungle. And I just did one area at a time to develop this. This is a 4-year development of this space, and so it continues to develop, guys. So let that encourage someone that's watching this video that maybe started or on the garden and just kind of needs some motivation to continue, or someone who have not gotten started yet and they're just thinking about it and it seems overwhelming. Just do one corner at a time, and then eventually it's going to develop into what you want it to be. And again, just remember, it's a continuous process, so it continues to develop, and it's a way to just create the environment that you want. This is definitely like a DIY garden with lots of thrifted things, lots of repurpose items, lots of DIY scrap creations, but I love it. When I sit here, I see my handprint in this space, and it makes me love it even more. So guys, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for tuning in to my garden walkthrough and sharing and having me share some of the updates that I've made to this space. I'll see you on the next video, and in the meantime, please stay well. Take care, guys. Bye.